Welcome everybody to Star Wrestlecast. Yes, we are back. We are no longer Ingobernables Day podcast. We have gone the way of the actual Los Ingobernables stable. Like they've gone into the ether, and now so has Los
We
Ingobernables.
went to parts unknown and we came back a new podcast.
Right. So now we are
We're all under masks now.
right now we are Star Wrestlecast, which I think is a very fun name, and it's still three of us: me, Travis Hobson, and it's Dave. That is Chris. What's up, guys?
How you doing,
Hey, what's
Travis?
going on?
So we are on the weekend. This is Super Bowl weekend for professional wrestling. I guess this is WrestleMania
I like to
weekend.
call it the High Holy Weekend. It is the weekend of wrestling religion.
This is wrestling Mecca.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
This is wrestling Mecca. This is anybody who's been to a town where there's WrestleMania taking place. They know that town becomes a wrestling town. In Vegas, there are like a dozen or more different wrestling shows going on. I'm pissed because
Like right now.
I'm good right now. Like I should have gone like 2 days early, because I'm not gonna have time to go to see anything. But there's so many shows going on.
Well,
Me,
High Spots is a company that comes out of North Carolina, and they do this like kind of like what do you call it? Like
is
a
it WrestleCon going on there, or is it WrestleCon or one of the other ones?
WrestleCon. That's what it
That was
is.
WrestleCon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
feel like
so they take it every WrestleMania, and they do shows kind of based off of those people that are at WrestleCon. But those are the promotions. Since all their people are there, they just keep doing shows. I think there were like 6 shows yesterday. I think there's like 8 today, and like 5 tomorrow, and like 4 tomorrow or Sunday. It's like
ridiculous
it
amount of
keeps
stuff.
going and going.
It's ridiculous amount of stuff that's going on. I know when I went a few years ago to New York when WrestleMania was in New York City. And I didn't go to WrestleMania, but I went to like the ROH New Japan show,
Yeah.
and then I went to a couple crazy midnight shows where somebody got murdered in the beginning of the show, and then they had like a trial for him at the end of the show, and then he like came back to life. It was so ridiculous. It was wild. And John Morrison was there, and a whole bunch of other people. It was crazy,
Yeah.
but stuff like that
Now,
is going on all right.
GCW has Sandman's final match versus an Invisible
Invisible
Man
Man,
this
yeah.
weekend,
Hog
and
Wrestling is there. Hog Wrestling is there too, right? I think.
yeah, and also Joey Janela is going to be facing Brody Lee Jr.
Brody Lee
for
Jr.
yeah, his first match.
I want to see that match. I think you can get that on pay-per-view also, right?
I think so, yeah, or at least like online somewhere on
Yeah.
like Triller.
I kind of want to see that match, honestly.
I want to see Invisible Man versus Sandman because Sandman's going to have 17 beers in him, and he's not going to remember that he's fighting no one. So
Right.
Well, if he has enough beers, he can just walk in, pass out, and the ref can just hit the three, and like there it
Can
is,
he,
squash.
can he even get in the ring anymore? I mean, like towards the end of his ECW run, he like could barely get in the ring. Can
Yeah.
he get in the ring?
well,
That
GCW seems to be retiring all the great ECW people one at a time, and then they die afterwards. So
was it. It was Dark Side of the Ring that had the Sandman documentary, wasn't it? That was
maybe,
pretty interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure it's Dark Side of the Ring. That
Mm.
was pretty cool. I know I watched the Sandman documentary sometime in the last year,
Who's
and
your
it was
favorite?
pretty interesting.
Before we jump into WrestleMania, this is going to be an all WrestleMania show. We're going to give our predictions for all the WrestleMania matches. Before we get started on that, though, who is your favorite all-time ECW wrestler? Who's not
Oh.
Rob Van Dam? Rob Van Dam is mine. But I'm not going to name him in this case. I'll name somebody else.
Taz. I liked Taz. ECW Taz was the best version of Taz. The Bam Bam Bigelow Taz match where they
Oh,
go through the frickin' ring,
Ring,
and
yeah.
yeah, that was this human
anytime,
suplex machine.
anytime he was going up against one of the triple threat, it was like loved it,
Yeah.
loved it. What about you, Dave?
Lance Storm, honestly, I love the
Oh,
technical end of it.
Fucking A, yeah. You know,
You
mine
know, and I
is
was
not. Go ahead. No, go ahead, man.
no, I was gonna say going strictly ECW original with Lance Storm. Other than that, Bam Bam. I was always a huge Bam Bam fan as a kid, and I loved his work in ECW. But ECW original Lance Storm.
I love fucking love Lance Storm.
Yeah.
For me, if it's not Rob Van Dam, it's Mikey Whipwreck.
Ooh,
Always love Mikey Whipwreck.
the ultimate underdog, the ultimate Sami
Yeah,
Zayn, if
man.
you will. You
Loved
know,
it. Loved him. Loved him, loved him, loved him. He had the
his stuff with
whippersnapper.
Cactus Jack when they were tag teaming together and was some of the best stuff like for ECW at that time.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so great. All right, so let's talk about this WrestleMania show. Two nights as always. Now SummerSlam's two nights as well, right? They're just gonna make
Yeah.
all big four
I think
shows.
the big ones are the major ones are going to be 2 nights now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that, but whatever.
No,
Uh,
me neither at all.
it's not necessary. I think we can all admit the build for this WrestleMania has not been great.
No.
It's not been great at
Oh,
all. But on the night, but that's happened before, and on the night, WrestleMania is going to be fun. Like it's gonna be fun regardless, right? Even if the build up wasn't great.
yeah. I mean, the card looks really solid. There's some matches I'm like, why are we doing this?
They
But
really
the
rushed it
card
to
looks solid.
make it better because it was looking pretty dire for a long time until
Well,
fairly.
we talked about it on the previous incarnation where we were like a month out and there were only two matches
Right.
announced. You
Yeah.
know, you look at Wrestle Freaking Mania and you got two matches announced. No wonder you're not selling tickets.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it got to a point where there's like 4 or 5, matches that could have been on the card now that aren't on the card, and so they have a dearth of things that just randomly appeared.
They got a few matches on here that could be on an episode of Raw, personally, I think.
Definitely.
But then again, you know what? AEW does that with every pay-per-view too. There's like 3 or 4 matches that should be on Dynamite or Collision, and they just,
Well, we'll get into that next episode. We'll get into the Darby
yeah.
Allin title win, and we'll get into Dynasty, which I watched all night long. And it's a
Right.
gripe that we've all had. But next episode, we'll get deep into that. It's WrestleMania weekend, so it's WrestleMania centric. So let's
Yeah.
get on it.
So to the best of my knowledge, WrestleMania is not sold out. Because they're still that's why they had that Saturday discount that they tried to disguise as a Pat McAfee.
25% off. Please come.
Right. So it's not
Oh
sold
my
out.
god,
So when they come on there this weekend and try to lie to you that it's sold out, it's not sold out, bro.
it's not sold
They're
out.
just getting people off the street. All the people who are like the
they're gonna be
indigent
bringing
gamblers.
they're gonna be bus loading in people from the methadone clinic like a motherfucker, man. They're gonna be just bringing them
Well,
in, dropping them in.
You
the
mean the
question
Golden
is,
Nugget? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's where they're going to bust them in from.
the question I got is, did they take all the people way up in the nosebleeds and just bring them all down to give
They
them better
actually
seats?
they do that for the areas that are going to be heavily focused on the cameras, like they can't avoid them.
Yeah.
They always move them down. AEW does that shit too. They bring
Oh
them
yeah. Well,
down and put them in the shots that are going to be on air, and it's
But this is WrestleMania. There should be no spots for that.
yeah.
and I'm a little and honestly I'm a little not annoyed, but like so for those who don't know, I'm going to Vegas on Sunday. I'm going to be there to join Netflix for a Netflix WrestleMania Night 2 watch party at
That's awesome.
one of their private suites. It's going to be pretty cool. Last year they invited me there as well, but they get us tickets through WrestleMania for Night 2. I'm like, y'all ain't got those tickets for this year because I know they're available. Y'all can't give me in there. But
Well,
then again,
would you think about purchasing a ticket if it's like really, really cheap in the nosebleeds for that thing, or is the watch party now? Because
at that point,
Netflix is awesome and they give you.
plus Plus, I don't want to tick off Netflix. I'd rather just do the thing that they invited me for. They invited me. They got me tickets for WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania the next night. So I'll be there for that. So
The special one. Yeah.
yeah, and the night after WrestleMania last year was pretty awesome. I mean, that was the beginning of the Vision, right? Or
Yeah.
the expansion of the
Is it?
Vision.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the creation. Yeah, it was the creation of the Vision after the nut punches of doom. So
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was a pretty gigantic Raw after WrestleMania. I expect we'll see something like that.
well, speaking of the Vision, the first match that you will see
Yes.
if you have ESPN2, because the first hour of WrestleMania Night 1 will be on ESPN2, is the Vision versus the Vision and ISHO Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight in a 6-man tag match.
Well,
Yay.
talk about
Who wants to
cra-
start on this one? Who wants to start talking about this one?
that's definitely a Raw match. And I'm gonna go with the Vision and I Show Speed just because of the celebrity in there. And the
Yeah.
Usos haven't been doing jack squat, and neither has LA
LA
Knight.
Knight.
This could be where we see main event Jey Uso turn too.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the new member of the Vision.
You know what? That would be a better thing than having Aisha Speed pin Jimmy Uso or Jey Uso, which is probably going to happen. They've been building up Aisha Speed this entire month. And to be honest, he is a wrestling fan. He's been in the ring. He's been shown that he was training with like Randy Orton and Fit Finlay and all them recently. So, he has been doing this wrestling. So I think you're going to be surprised by Aisha Speed in that match, but it's still going to suck.
I see this differently. I think this goes exactly the way we expected to go, the way I'd expected to go. It's the first match of the night. I think they want it to be a tone setter, the one that gets the crowd excited. So I think the Usos and LA Knight win, and I think Aisha Speed gets his ass blunt force traumatized to end this match. He might get blunt force traumatized and splashed. And Usos.
I was going to say, I think if it goes that way, everyone's got to get their finish in.
Yeah, on him definitely.
I think he's taking all of them because I personally see the Vision as on its last legs, at least until. Because do we know when Braun is coming back? Do we have any?
We don't.
I thought he was cleared already, but they were holding off. They're holding him off because they weren't sure, and by the time he was clear, they already started this thing with Gunther. Yeah.
So that means that Braun may show up in the Gunther match or somewhere else. It wouldn't surprise me if that happens. But yeah, that's what I heard as well. Is that he's cleared, but. They have enough buildup, which is weird. I mean, if he just appeared, I guess they wanted Gunther to have an actual match rather than a non-match. So,
yeah. Well, I get the involvement when you don't. You hold him off to Monday and you make it even bigger Monday.
Well, Gunther's guaranteed to have a 3-star match. He's been there with Seth Rollins, so I mean, he's going to get that.
Anyway, the second match on ESPN2. Will be the unsanctioned match, of Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre.
Are they going to do the whole thing where they turn the lights off to prove that it's
unsanctioned? That's an AEW thing. No way.
That's an AEW thing.
It's so
AEW. That's old school. I appreciate that. I don't see the purpose behind it, but I see why they do it. But I don't think it's necessary. But I do.
Is there somebody from the Sports and Athletic Commission sitting there y'all better turn them lights off, otherwise this is still a sanction? It's like
I think that's how it began. To be honest with you,
talk about Carney. That is the carniest of Carney.
Yeah,
going way back. Which is I appreciate the history that AEW respects, but that does not happen with WWE.
So the last time they had a lights out match, they couldn't turn the lights on for a while, which became a big problem. So
that's right.
Why didn't they just make it a lights out match?
No, it was actually the AEW and WWE both times. Like the AEW one, they had to put spotlights on people because they couldn't turn the lights on.
Oops, we got them off. No one checked to see if they needed to cycle back on or if it was a quick on off. But hey, whoops.
Listen, as a Ravens fan, I know how that it was with the Super Bowl. How they did not know in the arena that you had to cycle those gigantic lights when you turn them off immediately.
All right, so Chris,
operations manager dropped the ball on that one.
How do you think this one's going to go? I'm not really sure. What do you think?
It's a crapshoot. I'm going to go Drew McIntyre because he's been losing a lot, and Jacob could take the pin and still be Jacob Fatu.
I think
Jacob Fatu. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Dave.
Definitely Jacob Fatu. I think it's an unsanctioned match. He's the Samoan werewolf. He's the guy who was in prison. This has got to be his match. He loses it. Where's he go? But yeah, I think it's Fatu. And it's going to be the most bloodless, unsanctioned match you'll ever see.
Yeah, because it's on ESPN too.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
On there. I think I agree with Dave on this. I think Jacob Fatu wins. One, I think Drew McIntyre might be going away soon because he's at Highlander. And they just showed off a bunch of it at CinemaCon this week. He might need to start doing press for that pretty soon. And plus, think about Drew McIntyre is he needs to be refreshed every 3 months. He's in that position. It's kind of annoying, honestly. He might come back and be on Raw.
He almost become like the Roman Reigns diet soda. You know what I mean? Is he goes into a thing, disappears for a couple months, comes back, fights somebody, disappears for a couple months.
Yeah, he has these intense feuds, like the one he had with CM Punk a couple years ago. was amazing, like the entire year. But it was over. It's like, okay, well, he's got to go away.
Yeah.
He's got to go away. And he came back and he had a gigantic feud with Damian Priest. And then like that feud ended, which Damian Priest won. And then it kind of went away. He kind of went away again for a little while. And he keeps coming back. He comes back. Now he's feuding with Jacob Fatu. And it's been a really intense feud.
Yeah.
And he might lose it and go away again. And it seems like that's the way it's got to go. Because honestly, I think if Jacob Fatu loses this match, I don't know where you go with that character.
That's a good question. Yeah.
He looks pretty damn weak for somebody who's supposed to be the baddest dude on the roster. If he loses Drew McIntyre, Drew McIntyre loses. He comes back. He comes back a few weeks or a few months later, still talking trash about how much he's been disrespected or screwed over, and it's just all the same.
Well,
you can't have Fatu lose an unsanctioned match because he's a badass, like you said.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the next match is I don't know if that's going to be on ESPN2. I hope it is, but it probably won't be. It will be the first
that
match.
Jacob Fatu Drew McIntyre match ends up being a 45-minute epic. I mean,
yeah. Travis has behind him.
The I Show Speed match is a 45-minute epic.
Oh, that one's going to be a Broadway. That one's going. No one's winning. It's a time limit draw, 1 hour time limit draw.
I think we're pretty because there's going to be a pretty goddamn good amount of people just running their mouths during this hour. So I imagine we're probably going to get 2 matches out of this hour.
I think it's 2 matches per night. I remember hearing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. There's going to be because they're still promoting by ESPN Plus to watch the rest of WrestleMania.
That's true. Well, then the first match that people get
for an hour or whoever for whatever for an hour. That's
The first match on the pay-per-view then is Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship, or what's behind Travis right now.
Yeah.
Travis, who you got?
The 2 finest women in WWE in wrestling. I don't really care who wins because I'm going to be happy either way. No, actually, I think Liv Morgan wins this. I think Stephanie Vaquer's run has been all right. I don't think it's been a particularly great first championship run for her. I think she's probably better in chase mode right now, and Liv Morgan is amazing as champion. She's a really great champion.
I think Liv needs it more than Vaquer does at this point, and Vaquer probably might be going over to SmackDown or somewhere else at this. It's time for Liv time.
I feel like Stephanie Vaquer would do fine over on SmackDown for a while. She could wrestle Julia, which seems like a feud that they've got in their back pocket. I feel like that's something they've been wanting to get to. So I think Liv takes this, and she's asserting herself as the leader of the Judgment Day. She needs to be carrying some gold. So I think that's what happens.
I agree. I got Liv in this one. The build up to this has been pretty good. And the last on Monday night with Liv going absolutely flipping bonkers.
That scream! Holy crap!
Was amazing.
Can we get and then they followed up with that for being a pretty damn good actress as far as wrestling goes?
Oh, Liv,
she's got it. So I'm going Liv on this one, no doubt about it.
Travis, going back to you saying that she's a pretty good actor. I mean, she was a Hooters waitress, and you all know Hooters waitresses have to act.
Their entire job is acting.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to court that tip off of you.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny how she looks like a classic Hooters waitress, too.
She does.
She does. She really does. Jersey Hooters waitress.
I miss when she used to wear the little baseball cap. I do miss those days, though.
Oh, that I love like the Live Forever shirts that she had and everything. I like all that stuff. Speaking of people who live forever, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, the Intercontinental Women's Championship, is up in next of the second of 3 women's matches back to back to back to back. Who do you have in AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch?
Dave.
Travis.
Dave.
Oh, sorry. I go Becky Lynch. I don't think it's a doubt. Becky's got to win. And I love AJ. I wish AJ would win, but I've got to go with Becky on this one.
I want AJ Lee to win. Nothing against Becky Lynch, but I want Becky Lynch in the world title scene. But the problem is, I just don't see AJ Lee as continuing on past WrestleMania. Like, this is her getting her WrestleMania moment. Her big title defense, big championship match at WrestleMania.
This is the culmination of her return.
Yeah, it seems like that's the reward for her coming back and going through all this. And I
I
don't,
mean that's the perfect for both of them. She loses, she gets her moment. Becky Lynch gets the title. Everyone's happy in that situation. I'm with you. I think that Becky has been toiling in the Intercontinental Championship mines for too long and needs to go into the World Championship area at this point. But I think she's been kind of happy in her interviews recently, putting over all the women that she's been working with,
Mhm.
especially the younger talent. So, maybe she's like Bailey in the sense is just happy to be in that position at this point.
I really wish she was available to talk to on Monday. I have always wanted to talk to Becky Lynch. She's a personal favorite of mine, has been for a long time. So
Her and Dan Soder, who is a comedian and wrestling fan, had a really good podcast together, I think last week. And it was interesting to see her and like go toe to toe with a comedian and almost beat him, verbally.
yeah, I mean, as long as she's not on the Stephanie McMahon podcast, I may listen to it. I, I will never listen to that thing. I don't care who's on it. I don't care if she had like I don't care if she had like Bad News Brown, Mark Henry, RVD, Jake the Snake all on there, and Arn Anderson all on there if like at the same time. I still wouldn't listen to it. I'd be like,
Oh, actually, no,
somebody
no. I would love
send
to
me the
see
transcript.
Stephanie McMahon and Arn Anderson because that would be a clusterfuck of wonderful generations.
Oh shit. But I would never listen to it. That shit
Have
was
you seen my Glock,
they're gonna listen to
Stephanie?
me. What's the next
Give me
match?
an angry Stan Punkin. Okay. What is the next match?
The bathroom match, the fatal four-way tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Champions.
I
The
forgot.
Irresistible Forces, Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, versus Bailey and Laya Valkyria, and possibly the Bella Twins, even though one of the Bella Twins' ankle is like destroyed at this moment. So,
Yeah.
Yes, Nikki.
The one with dark hair.
yeah, the one with dark hit. Thank you. By the way, Danhausen called them. By the way, Danhausen called them clones recently in a vignette with them, and I was
Oh,
like, "That's
God.
the greatest thing in the world." It's like there's clones.
I hate that they've done right with Danhausen so far in WWE.
They really have.
They really have.
They have done right with him.
Yeah,
You're right.
keep him backstage running around doing dumb shit, and that's fine.
Well, he's
Yeah.
going to probably appear in a vignette somewhere, either on night one or night two, and that's going to be
Oh,
fine.
he'll be there, definitely.
They're gonna curse somebody, and they're gonna fucking.
The Miz needs to be cursed.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if he came out and like cursed Brock Lesnar?
It'd be great.
I
No,
would love that.
everyone wants to see him with Roman Reigns.
What if he came out and cursed Randy Orton like right before the match?
Yeah,
I'd be
Yeah,
so
curse.
I'd be so mad. I'd be like, "Are you fucking serious?"
he curses Jelly Roll, and Jelly Roll suddenly gains 300 pounds again.
I'd love it if he
Immediately.
cursed Jelly Roll, like,
Yeah.
and then Jelly Roll's career just goes down the toilet.
I don't know who wins this match. I don't care.
It's Nia Jackson. What's her face?
Does it
I-
matter who wins? No.
Yes, because I think Bailey and Lyra kind of deserve to win this because there's been a whole like year-long buildup of will they, won't they kind of situation. So that would be the great thing of winning this because remember Bailey got bounced for Becky last year for the tag team championships. So
They have been pushing that too.
Yeah, so that would be a great,
This to
moment.
me feels like if Bailey and Lyra wins, it would feel like when the Miz and R-Truth won the tag team titles, and I was just like, all right, so you guys don't really care. You're just throwing the belts on whoever, and you're just letting it go. If Bailey and Lyra won the titles, that's how I would feel about it because it wouldn't mean anything if they won the titles. And the sad thing is, they've done a really excellent job of building up these teams as actual teams. Like I think the build for the tag team titles, women's tag team titles, has been some of the best work WWE's done all year. And so it's a shame that this match is happening and it kind of feels like a throwaway. That's a fuck up on Triple H's part, on my opinion.
And I was clowning about being a bathroom match. It's not. It's actually, as Travis said, you're right. It is. They have done a great job over the last 3 or 4 weeks of putting these people in tag team matches and making you want to see this match. And if the Bella Twins, my second pick would be if the Bella Twins are in it, the Bellas win because that would be an interesting, that's TKO special right there.
That's my guess. My guess is that the Bellas find a way to win, assuming that Nikki is not too hurt, where she won't be able to like be on TV and defend the titles at all.
Yeah.
If she's not and she's okay enough to perform, then I think the Bellas win too because they want that moment.
Yeah.
That showing the belts with the gold, and then they won't hold the gold that long because Brie ain't sticking around
Yeah.
that long either. So they'll probably lose them back to they might lose them to Bayley and Lyra, and that's how Bayley and Lyra end up with the belts. But here's the question that I have about the match: is this where Charlotte and Alexa break up?
I hope.
Got to. I think they've run this into the ground. They've taken it as far as they can with it. Yeah, I think it is. It has to be because then you've got a built-in feud that'll carry them until SummerSlam, possibly. You could run that till SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And if the Bellas don't go in, it's either probably going to be Julia and what's her name? Who's Julia's?
Kiana,
The lawyer,
Kiana,
agent chick.
Kiana Brickhouse,
Yes.
James.
Yes, or the Kabuki Warriors, because that's why they've hold off the Io Sky Kabuki Warrior thing. Was just in case the Kabuki Warriors have to go in.
Is that match not happening at WrestleMania at all?
No, it's not.
Nope.
Pathetic.
Nope.
It's pathetic that neither one of those two is going to be on a WrestleMania match.
Yeah,
Look at the list of stars that aren't on WrestleMania, either night one or night two. It's pretty big and it's pretty interesting. Big. People who didn't make it on, instead we get friggin' iShow Speed and Pat McAfee.
There's only 6 matches on night 2.
Yeah.
You couldn't fit Asuka versus
yeah.
No, night 2?
Yeah.
There's like no women's matches on night 2 either, is there?
There's only one.
No, Rhea Ripley and
Jade and Rhea. That's right. Yeah. Come on, dudes.
Well, now that we're out of the women's matches, we have a match that will be fun, even though I have no idea why it's happening.
Now that we're out of women's matches. That's something that you usually hear like at AEW shows at like hour 1. It's like we're done with the women's matches now.
We're finished.
Well, it's 3 in a row of women's matches. I don't know why they're doing it back to back to back. I mean,
very interesting for WWE.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, especially after kicking out. Like, yes, I definitely want to see Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. That's a great way to start off the ESPN 2 hour of the pay-per-view, but or PLE if you were. But Seth Rollins versus Gunther is the one right before Cody and Randy.
Here's my bathroom match.
Oh no, this is going to be good.
Yeah, I mean half of it will be like Gunther will be good. Seth Rollins will be there.
No, okay. Why do you hate? All right, are you a Seth Rollins hater? That's the question to me. And it would be fair at this point to be a Seth Rollins hater.
I don't think Seth Rollins is like the worst wrestler in the world. I'd give him 3 stars. I don't think he's the worst.
He's on the Miz level for you. The Miz and Ethan Page.
His matches.
I think Gunther's going to win with interference by Braun Breaker. I think that's how you bring Braun back in, and you protect Seth Rollins, and Gunther still wins at WrestleMania.
I think Gunther wins without Brock, simply because, like I said to you guys before, that I think he's going to ask Paul Heyman for a retirement match against Brock Lesnar.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I think he needs to assert himself by himself in order to ask for that favor.
By the way, John Cena let it kind of slip that might be, I think, in SummerSlam in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense.
That would make sense.
Because that's where Brock is from anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he'll be there after the first hour of night 2. Because he said, I'm getting my $500,000 paycheck. Get me out of town in the first hour, and we're good.
He's like, I want to be home and watching the main event.
Right, exactly.
By the time it hits,
get me on.
But actually, we'll get to it in just a second. But that makes having him be the first match finally makes sense after so many times he's been the first match. So But the final match is the one that has Pat McAfee in it, and then Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, where according to some, maybe a stipulation that McAfee will leave the professional wrestling industry permanently if Orton loses.
Yeah, I slipped that. I slipped that into the contract personally.
I've never wanted to root for Cody Rhodes so hard in my life, and I like Cody. I root for him all the time, but I desperately want him to win so much.
All right, so I'm going to make a point here that Cody might also have to be going away soon for Street Fighter.
Oh no, he definitely is. I mean, he is.
He's
Have you
he's
seen
had
him
the
with the hair?
he's had the guile hair all weekend. So all week. So he's definitely gonna. He's probably he was at CinemaCon. Everybody's all this shit. He's probably gonna be going away for pro press for that. He might lose. Well, we've all said that we thought Randy Orton was probably gonna win this anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right. We may want Cody to win if it means Pat McAfee goes away, but chances
exactly.
are Randy Orton is going to win this match. So because they want him to get that damn 15th title. I don't know why they give a shit about this stuff, but
I don't know either, but I hope Cody comes out as Guile. I hope they do a whole Street
he
Fighter
might.
thing,
He
which
might.
would be freaking awesome. The trailer dropped. Thank you, Travis, for putting out that great piece on Punch Drunk Critics on it. That made me so I cackled about 17 times to Sunday on that. So I want Cody to come out as Guile and lose.
I wish he could be like Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega has found a way to like incorporate Street Fighter moves into his
Yeah,
wrestling arsenal. I wish Cody could do a somersault kick. And
dude. If he does a move called the Sonic Boom, I would love that.
I know.
Well,
I wish.
you know how they can make that happen, right? If Street Fighter pays WWE or pays TKO for it to happen.
I know,
If
right?
if the main event is brought to you by Street Fighter,
I know. How many times
you
do you think
know,
we're going to see that Street Fighter trailer during WrestleMania?
depends on how
I've
much
watched
they
it
want to
five
pony up.
times already.
Yeah, I know. I've watched it quite a lot too. So
It's gonna be it'll be Randy Orton, and then what, Backlash is the next pay-per-view. I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah, yeah.
it's Orton and McAfee versus Jelly Roll and Cody Rhodes
Yeah.
will be the man event of that one,
oh,
which will be
God.
fine because then I can tap out after whatever matches before that because I got zero interest in that match. But
Ugh.
yeah, it's gonna be Randy.
Where's Backlash at this year? Do we know?
Don't know.
I remember when Backlash was in DC a long time ago.
I mean, the greatest backlash of all time was the Puerto Rico one.
Of course.
That was
Yeah,
that's the greatest backlash of all time.
for sure.
In Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
Tampa
Tampa.
Bay.
Oh, it's in Tampa Bay. Okay.
All right, so that's night one.
Not horrible.
No, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. You know, I think most of those matches at least have some interest. I'm really interested in most of the women's matches.
Yeah.
You know, the first match I could probably
Well,
take or leave, but I'm interested.
that's good because that's pretty much all you're getting on night one.
Yeah, so go and piss away some of the stuff that Netflix is gonna be serving up during the Seth Rollins Gunther match. But
yeah.
yeah, otherwise he's pretty
Something tells me there's enough time between matches. You can go do what you got to do in the bathroom, get
I'm
another
gonna go
refreshment,
explore. I'm gonna go exploring during that match. I'm gonna go
You
walk
should.
out what else
buy some merch.
I can find around there. So all right, let's go
Night
night two.
night two. Well, the first hour of night two is on ESPN Prime. So it's going to be the match that everybody's looking forward to. One of the best buildup of WrestleMania season, Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. This is a match that has made me happy watching this build up. Everything about it has been perfect. In a month, they've turned Oba Femi into a star, like a boss level star. You know, one of the guys that is a boss level wrestler in WWE. Who do you got?
So I posted on our Facebook page. What's the over under in terms of like max time for this match?
Oh,
I
10
put
minutes.
put the over under at like 6 minutes or 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say five and out, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those matches where like Brock hits him with three F5s in the first minute and a half, and Oba kicks out of all of them.
Yeah.
Oba
Oh,
just-
that
I
would
don't
be
even
great.
think he gets.
and then Oba.
I don't think
smashes him.
Oba. I don't think even Brock gets the pin attempt. I think Oba immediately just pops right back
Pops
up.
up. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think he's even going to get the pin attempt. Maybe one pin attempt, but the other ones, he's popping up.
Can I make a bold prediction here?
Are you saying Brock's going to win this? Because
No, this is basically for the night after WrestleMania. I'm saying that whoever wins the CM Punk Roman Reigns match loses to Oba Femi on Raw the next night.
ooh,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they do
I
it.
would not be surprised. I mean, I had seen that somewhere else. I think someone was just predicting online, and kind of whatever. And they were saying that Roman's going to come out and say, cut a promo, this, that, the other thing. Oba's music hits, and he says, "I am the ruler." Yeah, he does his shtick, and then that sets up Oba winning the title. I wouldn't be
This
shocked
feels like the
at
kind of moment where
all.
you would do it, where you would pull the trigger on something
Yeah.
like that. If you were going to do it, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that for like 3 years now, I have been really hot on Oba Femi. In his NXT run, he was the longest North American champion. He was a NXT champion. Watching him grow up, and he's also one of the only WWE people that have come out of the NIL situation where he wasn't a wrestling fan. He was a track and field star, and he is now a wrestler's wrestler. He's learned everything from WWE, and he has the it factor. And to watch the crowds on Raw do the strut with him is one of the coolest things. Just it makes you strut.
Here's my question about Oba Femi, and I'm gonna rope in a friend of mine's criticism of Seth Rollins. When the whole Seth Rollins, when the crowd started chanting along with his,
Is this friend
that.
me? Is this friend me?
No, no, it's my
My
buddy
friend,
Kevin.
Okay.
My friend
whose
Travis, who
name
I'm doing
starts
the
with
show
a
with.
T and an H, but we can't name him.
Uh, would Oba be as over if he had different music and didn't have that strut? Is he all presentation? Is he all sizzle and no steak? I haven't seen the steak yet, and granted, I did not watch any of his run in NXT because I tapped the hell out on NXT when Vince took over and turned
Understood.
it into Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
The colors were awful. I tapped out, so I haven't watched anything of him that he's done, and I have not seen a damn moment of him in the ring in the main roster that makes me think he deserves A, the match with Brock, or B, a world title run. I am thoroughly unimpressed with him. Now, I have a long history, and Chris and I have talked about this over the years. When one of these guys comes in, like I never saw any of Kevin Steen's ROH stuff, so I wasn't sure about that. Love Kevin Steen, totally blew me away. Gunther as Walter, when he came in, I went right to Chris. I was like, dude, I don't get the hype about this cat. What
I
is
was
it? You
like,
said,
wait for
just
it.
wait. You said, just wait. And I wish his name was still Walter. Can't stand Gunther, just sounds stupid. But I haven't seen Oba Femi do anything that warrants what he's gotten. He's all sizzle, no steak so far for me, personally.
I get that. I think that's
Yeah.
fair. I mean, on the main roster, his longest match was what, against Rusev?
Rusev.
Was his
Yeah.
His longest match was on main event, and no one saw it, and it was against Joaquin Wilde, and it was actually
Wild.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of like the main roster, on
Yeah.
the big shows, his biggest match was against Rusev. So I get where you're coming from. If you didn't watch him in NXT, then you'd be justified in saying that because most of the time he's been on the roster, it's been about it's mostly been telling us how great he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Showing
been
us.
presented as a world beater, and
Right.
he hasn't beaten the world. Like, at least with Walter / Gunther, he had a good run at NXT, but he had that history in the Indies where if you follow him, you knew him, or you knew at least of his history, you
Well,
knew he had the gravitas to be that guy.
well, look, you're not going to get.
Same thing was
You're probably not going to get a 5-star classic out of Oba Femi. I don't
No.
think. But
No.
I think he's good in the ring. He's wrestled some good long matches in NXT, and I thought was pretty impressive. I think I think he'll eventually win you over if you want to be won over.
Yeah,
I
you
have no
know what?
problem. Like,
Yeah, but
show me.
I mean, but I don't disagree with you that if you didn't watch his NXT run, that right now you might be like,
Yeah.
what's the big deal? But then again, this match is supposed to be the match that does that for you.
Yes.
It's supposed to be.
And I've heard people compare his move set to almost like Kane. You know what I mean? Like it's not great.
Don't say that. That's such a low bar. Don't say that.
And
But
I wasn't
no,
a huge fan of Kane either, so let's not get carried
Kane's
away.
awful. Don't say
Well,
that.
no,
Thank
but
you.
better. I mean, he has speed. That's the thing is that he can move in that ring when he needs to. And
I think
so
he's got real personality in the ring too. I think he's
Yeah.
That's it. Travis, you mentioned this is the match where they're going to show me, you're going to sell me an Oba Femi. I don't see that. No one has like Brock Lesnar is awful. I can't stand Brock Lesnar. I haven't liked him since he came back and took Cena out way back when. I enjoyed his first run and then he went away. I have not liked him as like the guy who's the MMA guy. He can beat up all the wrestlers because he was a real fight. Like if I don't watch wrestling to see that nonsense.
Yeah.
And then the whole Suplex City thing took off, and that's all you ever got for him. It's like, he's just throwing people out.
Well, that's
What do you do?
that's the problem. When he came back, he really has a move set of like literally 3 moves.
exactly. Like he doesn't even have 5 moves of doom. He's just
Right.
boring to watch. There
Right.
have been, you know, for every 5, 6, 7, 8 matches that Brock has that I just like whatever. He'll have one like, oh, okay, this is kind
When
of
I
cool.
say he's going to win you over, what I mean is he's going to show you his power. He's going to show you his personality. He's going to show you his charisma, and he's going to show you what he can do in terms of physicality in the ring. Because
Okay,
that's going to be the presentation
Yeah.
for him throughout his
yeah,
career. So
And just one thing before we said, Travis said something about him that is important. And he has more than most wrestlers I've seen, even at his age, at like 27, he is. His how he acts in the ring is so much better than almost any other wrestler. His facial expressions, his like rage, or like the way he looks at people, like the little things, the tiny things in the wrestling, where like he takes a move and then he like hulks up from it. It's just those things are you can't teach that crap, and he
yeah. I mean,
has.
I
I think
admit
he's
I enjoyed
impressive
his
when he's.
interaction with Kit Wilson.
I think he's in the like even more impressive when he's losing.
Yes.
It's really hard
Okay,
for big guys like him, especially the ones who are supposed to be dominant, to like to lose and not look weak. Like I think about that Ricky Saints match where he lost to Ricky Saints, and Ricky Saints like spiked him on his head like 3 or 4 times, and that's what took him out. But I mean, I thought that was a really he looked really the way he sold it was really good
Yeah.
because most of those big guys are trained not to sell this kind of thing. So I think
yeah.
he gets the in ring psychology really really well for somebody who's not been doing this for very long. And look, I'm not the most gigantic Oba Femi fan in the world, but I do recognize that he's a
Now,
talented.
as the most gigantic Oba Femi fan in the world, I agree with you both.
Yeah, he should be good on the main roster in WWE though. So, all right, what's
Speaking
next?
of
Okay,
good
next.
in the main roster, we have the six-pack ladder match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. This is going to be a barn burner, in my opinion. Penta versus Javon Evans versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Rusev versus Rey Mysterio.
Why
This
not?
feels like a swan song for Rey Mysterio. His last WrestleMania, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the match. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Now, go ahead.
Oh no, this is the match. When it was announced, I was like, okay, this is one that's going to have me in my seat
Yeah.
watching every second of it. It is going to be. It has the chance to be the match of the night, the match of the weekend.
Yeah.
And I hope Penta wins. I want Penta to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Javon Evans wins.
I think JD McDonough wins because I think it'd be
Really?
interesting, yeah, to put it on another Judgment Day guy and then do a thing with Mysterio.
I
Interesting.
think I had thought about the possibility of JD McDonough winning, but I don't think that happens. I think JD McDonough will be the guy who people say he was really fucking impressive in that match. Like he does a
Yeah.
lot of shit that makes you say, "Oh yeah, JD McDonough." But I don't think he wins though. He's just gonna come out of this looking like a standout. I'm torn between thinking that Penta retains and that Javon Evans wins it. Those are my
Penta has had one of the best. Well, I put this on Facebook recently. Is that the Intercontinental Championship in the last year since Dominic Mysterio has won it has had one of the best runs for a year of a championship in all of WWE. And Penta has surprised me. I wasn't really sure when he won it, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, we
I've been
talk
wanting
about
to.
guys elevating titles, and titles need Intercontinental and the U.S. title are one of those things where guys always run around talking about how these titles need to be elevated all the time, and it's like talking about it is what elevates the titles. But but it seems like Dominic Mysterio and Penta have legitimately elevated the Intercontinental title. I can say I've given a shit more about the IC title than the World title for quite a while. And
Yeah.
it's been way more interesting than anything CM Punk has been doing with the World Championship on Raw.
Well,
So
remember what is the last titles John Cena won? The
Yeah,
Intercontinental title.
the title. Yeah.
well, if there was one
What was
guy,
the last title he
there
didn't
was one guy
have?
who didn't elevate the Intercontinental title, then it was John Cena.
that
That guy.
was the oh, he's never won it before. Let's give it to him before he retires nonsense.
Exactly. It's one of those stupid. Let's make sure he gets like the Grand Slam or whatever fucking bullshit.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Like
Let's have him beat
like
Ric
a
Flair's.
isn't the Miz like an 8-time Grand Slam winner or something? It's like that.
He's actually a two-time, which is insane that he's one of the only ones to have done the run around the bases twice.
Right, and it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything because he sucks. So whatever.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't suck. He's actually
Well,
He's
speaking of somebody who might
he's
suck, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley is next.
I'm very interested to hear your opinions on this one.
oh, go ahead, Chris.
Rhea Ripley's going to win, I think. Jade doesn't do anything with me, even with her new baddies. It just doesn't work. They're probably going to use Io Sky. If Rhea loses, it's probably because of an Io Sky turn or something to that, or Io Sky making her lose it somehow.
Interesting.
I've got Rhea Ripley doing it, but I think it's blast! I just blanked on her name.
Jade Cargill.
No, not her. I know Jade.
Io Sky.
Bianca?
No.
Oscar.
You know
Bianca
who's coming
Belair?
back? Bianca.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with. I think Bianca comes back and has something to do with this. But it's definitely going on Rhea because Jade Cargill's title run has been the shits. And they got to get it off her as soon as possible. I could see a Io turn on Rhea at Raw, and then setting that up going forward. I don't see Rhea or Io messing with the title win. I think Bianca comes out because then you forward that match. You can forward that storyline the next night on Raw. That way you don't have to worry about giving Jade Cargill a rematch and putting that on again. You get her out of the title picture as soon as possible.
I think Jade wins it. I think Jade wins.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look. You know that I agree with you that I don't think her title run has been very good, and I don't think she's very good on the main roster. But there's storylines left to do with Jade Cargill.
There is.
I think benefit from her still being champion when they happen. So that's the main reason why I think she holds on to it. And there's plenty you can do with Rhea over on Raw that she doesn't need the title for. So I just don't. Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it right now. I hate looking at it like through like practical reasons, like thinking about
that makes a ton
reasons.
of sense.
But
it does, and I hate it.
I miss the days when I could be like, well, Arn Anderson has the spine buster and Ronnie Garvin doesn't have any counter for it. Like when I was a kid, but I can't do that anymore. I gotta look at it as like a storyline writer.
We talked about this.
Like Jade.
We talked about this on a pre-show months and months ago. When as kids did we start to realize what wrestling actually was? We got to get into that.
Yeah.
In a few episodes away. I want to get into that and when we realized it and did it affect how we watch it.
It'll be when I start bringing wrestling magazines to school with me.
Yeah.
And I would have
arguments. You did that too?
I used to have arguments with people about the top 10 rankings in the magazines. You know?
Okay, I remember football practice. We were trying to figure out who the mystery person between that Undertaker was serving under the mask was, and we were convinced it was the $1 Million Man. And we had this whole like build up, and then it was Vince. Oh. But speaking of the kryptonite of wrestling, Little Yachty will be with Trick Williams versus Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn in a match that, okay, why can't we have Ilya Dragunov and everyone else in this match too?
You already have a 6-pack ladder match challenge, so
don't care. Do a fatal 4-way.
Carmelo Hayes you could on the show.
Yeah, Carmelo and Dragunov deserve to be in this.
For how many months? And he's not on the show.
I mean, here's how you could have done it. You could have switched that match to night 1 and one of the women's matches to night 2.
Yeah.
Even it out. Yeah, you could have had a multi-man match. That actually would have made a ton of sense. But yeah, go ahead.
So all these bums are going to be in the Andre Battle Royal tonight.
100%. Yeah. Which will be run by Royce Clayton or Royce Keys or Royce
Isaacs or what?
Isaac Yankomoff, whatever his name is.
I like that Royce Keys' character is about, I'm not about my past, but all he's done is talk about his past.
Listen, I'm not about the time I was in the horrible times in Los Angeles where my life sucks. I was not about that.
Every single vignette has been about it. It's like, dude.
Anyway, I'm here on that street. I'm not about this.
Not about that life, but I'm all about that life.
And here's my house. Yeah.
Trick Williams wins this one, no doubt.
Sami Zayn for me. I think Sami wins it.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
I think Trick wins it. It's going to be really fun to talk to him the next day. Because I talked to him a year ago when he was still on NXT. And we spent that whole interview talking about what he would do if he was on the main roster. So I'd love to talk to him now a year later when he's got some gold around his waist.
Well, you know what? That's a great follow-up thing. It's like last year we talked about what you do, and it's like grade yourself, you know?
Yeah.
I talked to Kit
How do you
Wilson
feel?
here before too. That'll be interesting to talk to him again because he's there on Monday as well. So
Well, and somewhere in night two, Danhausen and Kit Wilson are going to do a thing with the Miz. They have to. It's going to be a comedy thing. Danhausen's going to curse somebody. Things are going to fall on them, and that's
here's
everyone laughs.
here's another question. Does having Danhausen around doing what he's doing, does that make it easier for them to let R-Truth go?
Yes,
Ooh, yeah.
but R-Truth and him doing things in the last couple of weeks on SmackDown has been fantastic.
Why don't
Where R-Truth was calling him Oscar.
How long will they make them?
I haven't seen that. I need to watch that.
How
Oh
long
my
until
god.
they're tag team?
The first time to Damian Priest, he said that Asuka's coming around, and it was Danhausen, and then R-Truth and Danhausen are talking, and then Damian Priest goes like, "That's the guy you thought was Oscar," and it's like, "No, you thought he was Oscar," and it was just
Poor Damian Priest.
Right.
tag team champion, man. His
Wait, are
girlfriend
they still
is.
champions?
He is tag team champions, and the tag team champions aren't on WrestleMania.
I
Well,
was gonna say I
also
didn't even know they still have
his
the
girlfriend
belts.
is NXT champion right now, so you know what? He's having hot
I don't feel bad for them at
Latino.
all.
His girlfriend is who?
What's her name? The former
Lola
MMA fight.
Vice. Lola
Yes,
Vice.
Lola
Well,
Vice.
that's it.
I didn't know they were dating.
Yeah. Oh, their Instagram is interesting. Um,
Oh boy.
Yeah, but who's luckier, him or Miles Bourne, who's dating Stephanie Piquet?
ooh. I would say Miles because I would say Miles.
Wait, is Bo
Tiffany
Dallas
Stratton
still
is
dating
dating a
Liv
wrestler
Tyler?
too.
Because if
Oh
that's
no.
happening, it's Bo Dallas.
Tiffany Stratton is dating another wrestler too, but I don't think he's in WWE.
No, I
I
don't think
heard
so.
that.
He's
I
not
don't
dating
remember.
Ludwig Kaiser anymore. So
Nah.
he's dating somebody.
What's the next match?
All right. The next match
I
is
want to keep talking about who's dating who. That's what I
no.
want to keep talking about.
I would love to, but I'm on the
I
clock.
know I'm
All right.
driving. You got
The
it.
the squash match, the only squash match on this card I'm excited about, the Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Demon wins. Dominic, it doesn't matter because Dominic can take that pin and still be Dominic Mysterio.
He's still the Triple A champion, right? And he's still a Triple A champion.
Yeah, he's still
Yeah.
Triple A champion. He still has that to lose, So
We know
Yeah.
WWE's what they like to do with people who are champions. They like to make champions lose in non-title affairs because I guess they think that gets the other person over. Never really does. Just makes the champion look like an asshole.
It really
But they do
does.
that all the time. Remember, that's
Yep.
why Naomi and what's your name left that first time.
Sasha Banks
Tag team
left.
champion.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sasha
Mercedes
Banks.
Moné.
Yeah, why are we champions? Y'all making us job out all the time.
Yep.
This is so Dominic's getting his ass whooped this match. So
1000%.
yeah,
Yeah. If you're bringing out the demon, it's got to be the demon going over.
it'll be
Yep.
cool to see the demon again. I tried to explain the demon to my girlfriend, so not too long ago, like why it's a big deal that he's coming back. So it's cool.
Yeah, he himself said he didn't want to do the demon when he was in the judgment. He felt it wasn't special. Now it's special. This is special, bringing back the demon for WrestleMania.
A great way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, the battle of the old men.
We'll talk
CM
about a match with a 3-star ceiling.
CM Punk finally gets his WrestleMania real main event, even though he got one last year. And technically, yes, with 2 nights, you still get the main event, but this is the real main event. Roman Reigns wins.
Yeah. Roman Reigns. Thanks, Chris. Roman
Thanks.
Reigns.
We all be getting.
I want Punk to win, but I don't see how that happens, and I don't see how it would move things forward. It's got to be Roman Reigns.
I feel complete opposite. I feel that CM Punk wins for a reason that I've given twice already. Roman's got some Street Fighter shit to do pretty soon as well, and he's already a part-timer. And I think CM Punk wins and gets beat by Oba Femi the next night.
No, that makes a ton of sense. It makes more sense to have Punk win and then drop the next night to Oba Femi than have Roman win.
Now, I think it's reversed. You have Cody lose to Randy Orton, but then you have Roman win. So he has the belt while he's doing the promotions for Akuma for Street Fighter. So you have the best of both worlds in that situation where he has the belt and he's going to all the the talk shows with the belt.
I would agree with you if Roman wasn't already a part-time reigning lane, he was probably going to leave anyway.
That's
So
Yeah.
he's
I mean,
probably
we're
he's probably
already used
going to
to Roman
go.
not being here as champion, as not champion, and as champion. So it wouldn't surprise me. But I like the idea of Roman winning it and then dropping it to Oba Femi. I think it makes Femi look better if he beats Roman for it.
Yes.
I like the idea of CM Punk, who was, I mean, talked quite a lot about him being older and having to fight differently and stuff like that. Now, losing to somebody young and up and coming like Oba Femi, like all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I like the idea of that better. I think that works better with CM Punk than it does with Roman Reigns.
See,
We can
now
always
I agree.
use Oba
I
Femi.
agree with Dave that works better with Roman because again, it's powerhouse versus powerhouse. It's if he beats the old guy, it's not that great. If he beats the old big guy, it's kind of better.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
think you can build to a Roman Reigns Oba Femi match, and you
Mm.
want to build to that match over the course of weeks. Then I think that works out better than trying to build to a CM Punk title defense against Oba Femi. That doesn't seem that's not nearly as exciting to me as him getting stunned on unexpectedly on a Monday night, the Raw after WrestleMania. And Oba Femi Roman Reigns is the kind of match you build to for like a major SummerSlam,
Well, that's
WrestleMania, Survivor Series type event.
Yeah.
That's why I look at it that way.
that's what I'm saying. Like you have Oba win the next night. And you can always have the built-in excuse. Whoever does go into Wrestle Raw as the champion has the built-in excuse. Oh, the night before it took too much out of me. I wasn't ready for it. That way, when they come back, you have the build to SummerSlam.
CM Punk
You
will have
have
a lot of
Roman.
shit to say once he gets beat.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true too.
A
Oh
lot
yeah.
of shit to
Uh,
say.
yeah. But I genuinely think I'm going to go with your Oba wins the next night, and it being he takes Roman out, because then Roman goes away. You can have Oba squash a bunch of other people on the
Yeah.
road to SummerSlam.
Imagine how awesome it'll be with Oba as champion and Roman's been gone for a while, and all of a sudden he shows up and spears the shit out of Oba Femi.
Oh, exactly,
And you know
exactly.
what? You could give some of the Samoans something to go after. If
Yeah,
he takes out Roman Reigns, then, Jacob Fatu, Jimmy and Jay, all of them, even Solo, because who knows what's going to happen with MFTs, have them all, kind of go, you can't take out the big dog.
it
Yeah.
reunites the bloodline.
Yeah.
Because then he comes out and says, I'm the ruler of everyone, the ruler of the Samoans, la la la, and then whoever comes out and
Boom.
how dare you
All
back
right,
the
Dave, I know you got to get out of here in a minute, but
sorry guys.
before we run out of here, do we think anybody from NXT debuts on the Raw after WrestleMania?
Ooh.
Saul Ruka, I think is a definite for me.
Yeah. Saul is definite.
Yeah,
Uh, Joe Hendry. I think that they're finally going to hit the Hendry button.
Okay. It seems like Ethan
maybe.
Page still got a little bit left to do on NXT. It seems like he's challenging for the title now against
Yeah.
Tony D.
You know what, JC Jane, going back with Sol Ruka and JC Jane deserves finally to be up on the women's roster. I don't know how she does. She's probably going to be a lackey of somebody's,
I think
but
you got to come up with the group.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no,
bring them all up.
Now you got to bring up as a trio.
no. She has to. There's no way you can bring that entire group up there.
Fallon Henley is long overdue to be on the main roster.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
either she comes up or she's got to go. If
I
you're
know
going by
she's
TKO
she's about
standard.
maxed out on her time there.
Yeah, yeah, I can see why not bring them all up. Yeah,
Laney Reed's not ready, but I mean, I don't know. I don't
Neither was Liv Morgan when she came up with the Riot Squad.
absolutely absolutely she was not.
yeah,
She
yeah.
was
But
the one least likely to be. Well, Sarah Logan never really showed much of anything, but no, I don't think anybody expected Liv Morgan.
No, she was the least likely of that group to actually be like the superstar of superstars she is now. That's quite, you know.
Right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Ruby Soho is a mom who runs a gaming bar or something like that. So whatever it is that she runs with her husband. No.
Actually, there's a bar like that in Baltimore. I just found out where they have nothing but board games, and you can
Ooh.
go
We have one
have
up here.
drinks and and have a beer and play board games. It's a really cool concept. Does it have legs? I don't know.
Yeah, we have
Is it
one.
like the
We have one of those near here too. That's
yeah?
on.
It's like the Cat Cafe and the old school video game parlors, video game arcade things.
All right. Well, that has been this episode of Five Star Wrestlecast. I'm Travis. That is Dave. That's Chris. It's been a lot of fun. It's WrestleMania weekend. It's going to be a hell of a lot going on this weekend. We might try to pop in, maybe talk about some of the shows that are going on, some of the stuff that comes out, and see if any of our predictions came true. So get ready. It's going to be a big weekend,
Absolutely.
guys. Dave, Chris,
Thank
enjoy,
you
my
all for
man.
joining us.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you next time. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you're already subscribed to Ingo Renalist, then I mean, then you've already got this. You can also find us on YouTube now, and this video will be up on YouTube soon as well. So thanks a lot to everybody who's been sticking with us. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Take it easy.